Marcus noticed the dark bruises on Elena's wrists as she served breakfast. His trusted housekeeper, who had cared for his daughter for 3 years, was hiding something terrible. When he discovered the shocking truth about her husband's violence, Marcus knew he had to call the police immediately. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The morning sun filtered through the kitchen windows of the Thompson house as Marcus watched Elena carefully arrange breakfast on the table. Something was different about her today, the way she moved, slower than usual, favoring her left side. When she reached up to get plates from the cabinet, her sleeve rode up, revealing a dark purple bruise wrapped around her wrist like an ugly bracelet. "Elena," Marcus said softly, setting down his coffee cup. "What happened to your arm?" Elena quickly pulled her sleeve down, her dark eyes darting away from his concerned gaze. "Nothing, Mr. Thompson. I fell yesterday. Very clumsy of me." Marcus frowned. In the 3 years Elena had worked for him, helping to care for his 7-year-old daughter Lily since his wife's death, he had never known her to be clumsy. Elena was grace itself. The way she moved through their home, the gentle care she gave Lily, the quiet efficiency with which she managed their household. "Are you sure?" "That looks pretty serious," he pressed, but Elena was already turning away, busying herself with wiping down counters that didn't need cleaning. "Daddy," Elena made pancakes shaped like butterflies. Lily burst into the kitchen, her blonde pigtails bouncing as she climbed onto her chair. "Look." Marcus smiled at his daughter's excitement, but his eyes remained on Elena. There was something in her posture, a tension he'd never noticed before. When she bent to kiss Lily's forehead, a morning ritual they'd established, he saw her wince slightly. After breakfast, as Elena cleared the dishes, Marcus noticed her moving even more carefully. When she thought no one was looking, she pressed her hand to her ribs, her face tightening in pain. "Elena," he said, approaching her at the sink. "Please talk to me. What's really going on?" Her hands stilled in the soapy water. For a moment he thought she might confide in him. They had built a trust over the years. She was more than just their housekeeper. She was family. But then she shook her head. "Really, Mr. Thompson, I am fine. Just tired." That evening, after Lily was in bed, Marcus found himself unable to concentrate on work. He kept thinking about Elena's bruises, her careful movements, the fear he'd glimpsed in her eyes. He trusted Elena completely. She had been a blessing in their lives after Sarah's death, helping him navigate single parenthood with such kindness and wisdom. The next morning brought more concerns. Elena arrived wearing a high-necked sweater despite the warm weather, and when she smiled at Lily, Marcus noticed a small cut on her lip that hadn't been there the day before. "Elena," he said as she prepared Lily's lunch for school. "I'm worried about you." She paused, her hand trembling slightly as she spread peanut butter on bread. "You don't need to worry, Mr. Thompson. I can take care of myself." "But what if you can't?" he asked gently. "What if you need help?" Elena's eyes filled with tears. She quickly blinked away. Some things cannot be helped." The cryptic response troubled Marcus all day. During his lunch break at the law firm where he worked, he found himself researching domestic violence resources, a terrible suspicion growing in his mind. That evening, as Elena was leaving for the day, Marcus made a decision. "Elena, wait." He reached into his wallet and pulled out several bills. "Take this. Whatever's happening, maybe this can help." Elena stared at the money, her eyes widening. "Mr. Thompson, I cannot." "Yes, you can. You've done so much for Lily and me. Let me help you." Elena's composure finally cracked. Tears streamed down her face as she shook her head. "You don't understand. The money, it will only make things worse." "Then tell me what will make things better," Marcus said urgently. "Elena, you're like family to us. Let me help." For a long moment, Elena stood frozen in the doorway. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "My husband, he gets angry when I have money. He thinks I'm trying to leave him." Marcus felt his heart sink. "Elena." "He wasn't always like this," she continued, the words tumbling out now that the dam had broken. "When we first came to America 5 years ago, he was different. But he cannot find good work, and he drinks, and he says it's my fault that we struggle. He says I think I'm better than him because I work for a rich family. Elena, this isn't your fault. None of it." She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "Yesterday I came home with groceries, good food because you pay me well, and I wanted to make him happy. But he saw the receipt and got angry. He said I was wasting money trying to show off." She touched her ribs unconsciously. "He pushed me into the kitchen counter." Marcus felt a surge of anger unlike anything he'd experienced since Sarah's death. Elena, you don't have to live like this. Where would I go? She asked helplessly. I have no family here. No money saved because he controls everything. You have us, Marcus said firmly. Lily and I, we care about you. You don't have to face this alone. That night, after Elena had gone home, Marcus called his sister Rachel, a social worker in the city. Marcus? What's wrong? You sound upset. He explained the situation, his voice tight with concern. Rachel listened without interruption, then said, You need to document everything. Take photos if she'll let you. And Marcus, be careful. The most dangerous time for a domestic violence victim is when they're trying to leave. The next morning, Elena didn't come to work. Marcus called her cell phone repeatedly, but it went straight to voicemail. By noon he was frantic with worry. Daddy, where's Elena? Lily asked when she came home from school to find Marcus fumbling with her afternoon snack. She's not feeling well today, sweetheart. Is she very sick? Can we bring her soup like she brings us when we're sick? The innocence in his daughter's question broke Marcus's heart. I don't know where she lives, Lily. But that wasn't entirely true. He had Elena's address from her employment paperwork. As the afternoon wore on and Elena still didn't respond to his calls, Marcus made a decision that would change everything. After arranging for Mrs. Henderson from next door to watch Lily, Marcus drove to the address on Elena's paperwork. It was a rundown apartment complex in a part of town he rarely visited. He climbed the stairs to apartment 2B, his heart pounding. He could hear voices through the thin door, a man's voice, loud and angry, and Elena's voice, pleading. Then he heard a sound that made his blood run cold, the unmistakable crack of a hand hitting flesh, followed by Elena's cry of pain. Marcus didn't hesitate. He pounded on the door. Elena. Elena, are you okay? The voices inside went silent. After a moment, the door opened a crack, revealing a man with bloodshot eyes and alcohol on his breath. What do you want? The man slurred. I'm looking for Elena. She works for me and I'm concerned about her. She's sick. Go away. The man started to close the door, but Marcus put his foot in the gap. I'd like to hear that from Elena herself. Elena, the man shouted back into the apartment. Your boss is here. Elena appeared behind him and Marcus's heart sank. Her left eye was swollen shut, and there were fresh bruises on her neck. When she saw Marcus, she looked terrified. Mr. Thompson, she whispered. You shouldn't be here. Elena, come with me. Right now. She's not going anywhere, her husband snarled. This is my wife, my house. You have no right. Actually, I have every right to be concerned about my employees' welfare, Marcus said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. Elena, do you want to come with me? Elena looked between Marcus and her husband, terror and hope warring in her expression. I can't. He'll find me. No, he won't. I promise you, Elena. You'll be safe. Her husband grabbed Elena's arm roughly. She's not going anywhere with you, rich boy. That's when Marcus saw it, Elena's phone on the table behind them, recording. She had been trying to document the abuse. Elena, Marcus said carefully, I can see your phone is recording. That's very smart. The police will want to see that video. Elena's husband spun around, seeing the phone for the first time. His face contorted with rage. You little? He raised his hand to strike Elena, but Marcus was faster. He pushed through the door, placing himself between Elena and her husband. Don't even think about it, Marcus said firmly. Elena, get your phone and anything else you need. You're leaving with me right now. You can't do this, her husband shouted. I'll call the police on you. Good idea, Marcus said, pulling out his own phone. I'm calling them too. As Marcus dialed 911, Elena quickly grabbed a small bag she had apparently packed in preparation for this moment. Her hands shook as she reached for her phone, which had captured her husband's violence on video. 911, what's your emergency? I need police at 1247 Maple Street, apartment 2B. I'm witnessing domestic violence and I'm helping the victim leave safely. Elena's husband lunged toward them, but Marcus stepped forward, his height and build enough to make the smaller man hesitate. The police are on their way, Marcus said calmly. I suggest you step back. Within minutes, they could hear sirens approaching. Elena clung to her bag, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, she whispered to Marcus. I didn't think anyone would help me. You're wrong about that, Marcus said gently. There are more people who care about you than you know. The police arrived and took statements from everyone. Elena showed them the video on her phone, which clearly captured her husband's violence. The officers arrested him on domestic violence charges, and a restraining order was immediately put in place. As they left the apartment building, Elena turned to Marcus. "I don't know where to go. I have no money, nowhere to stay." "You're coming home with us," Marcus said without hesitation. "We have a guest room and Lily will be thrilled to have you there." "Mr. Thompson, I cannot impose." "Elena, you're not imposing. Your family." When they arrived at the Thompson house, Lily ran to Elena, then stopped short when she saw her bruised face. "Elena, you're hurt," Lily said, her voice small and worried. Elena knelt down to Lily's level, wincing slightly from her injuries. "Yes, sweetheart, I am hurt. But your daddy helped me and now I'm going to be okay." Lily gently touched Elena's uninjured cheek. "Daddy says when we're hurt, we need lots of love to feel better." Elena's eyes filled with tears, but for the first time in months, they were tears of relief rather than fear. "Your daddy is very wise." That night, as Elena settled into the guest room, Marcus knocked softly on her door. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "Scared," Elena admitted. "But also, hopeful. I haven't felt hopeful in so long. The lawyer I spoke with says the video evidence is very strong. He likely won't be able to contact you, and there are programs to help you get back on your feet." Elena nodded, then looked at Marcus with gratitude shining in her eyes. "Why did you help me? You could have just looked the other way." Marcus thought of his wife Sarah, of the values they had tried to instill in Lily, of the kind of man he wanted to be. "Because that's not who I am, and because you matter, Elena. You matter to Lily and you matter to me." Over the following weeks, Elena slowly began to heal, both physically and emotionally. The legal process moved forward, and with the video evidence and Marcus's testimony, her husband was convicted and sentenced. The restraining order was made permanent. Elena continued working for the Thompson family, but the relationship had evolved into something deeper than employer and employee. She was truly part of their family now. One evening, about 2 months after that terrible day, Elena was helping Lily with her homework when the little girl looked up and said, "Elena, I'm glad Daddy saved you." Elena smiled, the last of her bruises finally faded. "I'm glad too, sweetheart. But you know what? I think I helped save your daddy too." "How?" Lily asked, curious. Elena looked toward the kitchen where Marcus was preparing dinner, humming softly, something he hadn't done since Sarah's death. "Sometimes when we help others, we help ourselves remember what's important. Your daddy remembered that love means protecting the people we care about." Marcus appeared in the doorway, having overheard. "Elena's right, Lily. Helping Elena reminded me that we're strongest when we take care of each other." That night, after Lily was asleep, Marcus and Elena sat on the back porch watching the stars. "I've been thinking," Elena said softly, "about what you said that first day, about me being family." "I meant it," Marcus replied. "I know you did. And I want you to know that you and Lily, you saved my life. Not just from my husband but from giving up hope entirely." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "You saved us too, you know. After Sarah died, I was just going through the motions. You brought warmth back into our house, reminded me how to take care of someone again." Elena smiled. "We saved each other then?" "Yes," Marcus agreed. "I think we did." As they sat in comfortable silence, Elena reflected on how much had changed. The bruises that had once marked her skin had healed, but more importantly, the invisible wounds, the fear, the shame, the feeling of being trapped, were healing too. She thought about her husband, now serving his sentence and required to attend anger management and alcohol abuse programs. Part of her hoped he would get the help he needed, but she also knew that her safety and happiness were no longer dependent on his choices. She had learned that asking for help wasn't weakness, it was courage. That love shouldn't hurt, and that she deserved to be treated with kindness and respect. Most importantly, she had learned that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about people who see your worth when you can't see it yourself, who stand up for you when you can't stand up for yourself, and who offer you a place to belong when you have nowhere else to go. The bruises had faded, but the love that had grown from that dark time would last forever. In helping Elena escape her nightmare, Marcus had found his way back to hope. In accepting their help, Elena had found her way back to herself. And Lily, wise beyond her years, had learned the most important lesson of all. That when we see someone hurting, we don't look away. We reach out, we help, and we hold space for healing. The Thompson house was fuller now, richer in love and laughter. Elena's presence had completed their family in ways none of them had expected. What began with the discovery of bruises had blossomed into something beautiful. A reminder that even in our darkest moments, there are people willing to be our light. As Elena tucked Lily into bed that night, the little girl hugged her tight. "Elena? Yes, sweetheart. I love you. Elena's heart swelled with joy. I love you too, Lily. More than you'll ever know. And in that simple exchange, in that warm house filled with people who had chosen to care for each other, Elena knew she was finally, truly home.